Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to do this video that I first saw on Books with Emily Fox channel, I believe. It's basically books that I gave 4 stars. Not my favorite books, but still great books. So I have a list of, I believe, 14 or 15 of them. Yeah, it's going to be a long list. But as always, let's just get started. So first I wanted to talk about City of Lies by Sam Hawke. I love this book actually, and probably I should probably raise its rating actually. But basically this is about a siege city, and we're going to follow 2 POVs, 2 siblings to be precise, and one of them is the taster for the king. Well, not the king, the heir to a throne, and the other one, his sister, is just kind of spy. It's just great, you know. She's fantastic. She's fantastic. I mean, I found him interesting, but her on another league, like amazing. I still need to read Hollow Empire, which is a sequel. I believe it's a companion novel, not a direct sequel. So I still need to check that. But man, City of Lies is a very slow book, you know. It's a city under siege. There's not that much action going on. So careful with that if you don't like that. But if you don't mind, highly recommend that you check out this one. It's super underrated. Like, oh, so good actually. Then we have here the book that basically inspired this video. This is The Fisherman, and it was recommended to me by one of you when I talked about loving like horror books related to the sea, water in general. You know, I really like this. I really like this. I'm actually ordering a physical copy because I just really want to have this book physically so I can read it. It was great. It's weird fiction. It's kind of in the same vein as Annihilation, China Mayville, The Library at Mount Chart. It's weird, but it was so cool, man. Basically, we're going to follow this guy. His wife passed away really quickly, and he's dealing with, you know, the aftermath. And sorry if anything looks different. I just had to get up and get a package. Sorry. But I was talking about The Fisherman and how much I fucking enjoyed it. Basically, this guy is just dealing with the loss of his wife, and he starts going fishing. Basically, he goes to this kind of secret creek with one of his friends, and everything is weird. And we have the story of the creek also in between the book. Loved it. It reminded me of something. I don't know what yet, but the description of the final parts, I just don't want to spoil anything. Remind me a lot of something. I just don't remember exactly what it was. But man, this was great. This was great. I highly recommend you check out this one. It's horror, definitely, but so good. So good. The next one that I have here, I just cannot find my physical copy. I don't know what it is, but this is Night Watch by Sergei Lukyanenko, if I remember correctly, was his name. But I just cannot find my copy. I've had this book for so long and I just cannot find it. But this is a Russian book, and it's weird, okay? It's weird. It's weird than The Fisherman, you know? It's quite special. This is a urban fantasy book that is heavily rooted between the fight of good versus evil. And we have the Night Watch, that is basically good guys that patrol the night against night creatures. And we also have the Day Watch, that is bad guys patrolling the day, so good guys don't fucked up. Basically, it's this weird balance between them after this treaty, and there's this prophecy telling that it's going to be like this great one that is going to kind of tip the balance, and we don't know what side he's going to choose. It's just great, but it's really weird. Like, this book is weird. There's some shit in space. I don't remember if it was in this book or later. But it's weird. It is weird. Go into this one with caution. I really like it, but you know, I really like weird books, so yeah. The next one that I have here is Confessions by Kanai Minato. I've talked about this one quite several times, I believe, but I really like this. This is a thriller book, and it has great payoff. Basically, we follow the story of this teacher whose children was killed, basically, and we follow basically 5 different POVs. It's kind of the same story, but told from the different kind of assistance to the story. We follow, of course, the mother. We follow the president of the class. We follow the 2 killers, and we also follow the mother of one of them. It has these different like POVs about this tragedy and how some of them repent, how some of them just don't. The part that revenge takes. It's amazing. So many cool things in this novel. I really like the different perspectives on this because, you know, all the characters are kids except 2. And it's weird and it's told really great. I love this. You can binge read in a day. It's super short. The ending, that ending, like revenge on another level. Honestly, on another level. I loved it. I highly recommend this one. I really need to try more books from this author. Like, I really should. Then I have here My Sister, the Serial Killer. I don't think that I have talked enough about this book, but I actually really enjoyed it. It's basically about this woman whose sister is a serial killer, and she has basically been covering her up. The sister just murders her boyfriends all the time, and it's kind of a funny take, but no, it's a really weird mixture. We have some humor. The only thing that I just don't love about this book and why I didn't give it 5 stars is because it is a really short novel and it could have been like expanded a lot more. I feel like we never get to really know the main character nor even the sister. So in that regard, I'm a little bit meh about it, but if I think about it, it's a really cool take on, you know, the knowing who is the serial killer trope, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for a really fast read, like kind of thrillery read, highly recommend this one. Highly recommend this one. Oh, now I have here Shadow of a Dead God. I think I've talked about this one quite recently, but I just really like this book. It's not perfect, but it's really, really fast and really funny. You know, I just don't click with funny books. But this book is funny as hell. So we basically follow our main character and he's basically a mage, but his best friend is kind of a thief. So they have this agreement to take this artifact from a magician's house, basically, from another magician's house. And when they get there, something goes really wrong, bodies start appearing and they are blamed for it. Basically, the best friend is taken, their custody, and the armed forces are just like, well, if you find the responsibles before this amount of hours, well, yeah, then we will release you. If not, you're dying, both of you. So it's kind of a murder mystery. We're in a fantasy setting. Loved it. It's super easy to read. You know, I always take my time reading my ebooks for some reason. I just don't read them as fast as my physical books. But this one, in 2 days. And I was so into it. Like, the main character is also super, 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 super likable. So you get super good through this one. Like, I really, really like it. I highly recommend this one. I believe... it was one of the finalists for SPFBO this year. I don't know in which position. I just really liked it. I highly recommend this one. Super fun if you're looking, you know, fast read. Highly recommend this one. And in that kind of same theme, we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I really like this series. You know, I just really enjoy like more YA mysteries. I just find them more compelling. I don't know why. They're more dramatic. So I really like that. But this series is really worth it, you know? The whole trilogy in itself, I still think that this one is my favorite of the 3. Truly Devious, the first installment. But the whole trilogy is not bad either. There's also a 4th book coming out that I don't understand, but whatever. Still, in this one, we basically follow Stevie, and she is selected to go into this super prestigious academy where she can basically just learn and get deeper on her true crime knowledge. And she is also there because she really wants to solve this murder that happened. Well, not this murder, this disappearance that happened a few years ago with the daughter and the wife of the founder of the school. This is so engaging. I just love this first installment. I really want to reread it actually because I really, really enjoy this first one. Also, main character, amazing. And true crime is always such a good thing to get you hooked, you know. I just really like this one. Then I kind of got rid of my copy of this book because I don't think I'm going to reread it, but I really enjoyed it when I read it. This is 14 by Peter Kleins, and this is kind of a horror-y mystery type of novel. We basically follow our main character, and he starts living in this complex of apartments that are really, really cheap for some reason. You know, that's always... You cannot trust that. Like, don't trust that. He's pretty okay in there until he starts kind of finding out these really weird things around the building. There's writings on his walls in the apartment. The elevator never works. Some doors are locked. Some apartments you cannot live in. It's just super mysterious. I just kind of loved more the development of the mystery than the resolution on itself. It's kind of Lovecraftian, if you know what I mean. So I was just like, do I like it? I don't know. The ending has me a little bit meh, but I really like the development of the whole book. Like, the first, I don't know, 300 pages are great, are super worth it. There's a part that reminds me a lot of House of Leaves, with them exploring the house. There's something similar here that I really enjoyed. But yeah, I would highly recommend this one if you just want a horror read. Then I have here Dreadnation by Jessina Ireland. I just recently read this like a couple of months ago and I really enjoyed it. It's basically a zombie retelling version of the Civil War in the United States, and it was great. I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking great. Basically, they train black girls to become these kind of zombie killers, and it was super cool. There's, of course, a lot of racial commentary, which was done greatly. Like, in my humble opinion, I just really liked that, and it was mixed so well with the more horror-y aspects of this. I really liked it. I really liked it. I highly recommend this one. It's super underrated in my opinion. Like, you know, I get that you might not like zombies, but there's so much more to this novel than that. Even though that part I really liked. But highly recommend this one. It's super cool. Then I selected here the Gospel of Loki, which I read for Sarah's book club a couple of months ago, and I was pleasantly surprised. You know what? I'm not a huge fan of Nordic mythology. Don't ask me why. I'm just more of a Greek-Roman person. Nordic mythology is not something that I gravitate towards in general. I just really prefer everything else before that. But this I really like. It's basically a retelling of all the Nordic mythology, but from the eyes of Loki. And I really like how he was just like, can you believe that I just did this and he betrayed me? Even though he's obviously the betrayer, but it's just great. It added like a cool twist to it, you know, seeing everything through Loki's eyes. But this one, if you're into Nordic mythology, you are really going to like it, basically. But if you're really well versed in that, it's not going to add anything new. So, you know, there's those things. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it, and I really think it's worth the read. And it's super easy to follow. Like, I listened to this in one day, I believe. Like, it's kind of story after story, so super cool. Then I have here Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, which I really need to continue. I actually really liked the first book, even though it has its problems. I just didn't fully connect with it because it's weird. But it was weird in a way where I wasn't just like, am I liking it? Am I liking it? I'm not sure. But basically in this one, we're going to follow Senlin. He is on his honeymoon. He and his wife go visit this Tower of Babel, basically. You cannot see the top of, and once they get there, Senlin's wife disappears, so he's just like, I need to find her. So he gets into the tower, and we explore several of the floors. Of course, we do not explore the full tower because it's gigantic. The thing that I liked the most here was probably the theater floor. I really like that part, but for some reason, I'm not hugely into the narration style of this novel. I don't know, it feels really like I don't know how to explain it, but it feels just like really separate things, but just not really meshed together, but just like feel like copy and paste, like adventure after adventure after adventure. They feel to me really separate from one another, so that's the part that I'm not a huge fan of this book. But overall, I actually really like it, and I think the concept is super cool and super original, especially inside the tower, you know, not the concept of the tower, but inside the tower is really greatly executed. So I really want to continue, but at the same time, I'm just like, that was so weird. But I have the second one, which is Arm of the Sphinx, so I'll probably get to that. So getting to the bottom 4, first here I have The Silence by Tim Levan. I also got rid of this copy, but mostly because I wasn't really into it after the Netflix movie. Like, I saw the trailer for the movie and I was just like, oh, this looks great. I really need to check this book before the movie comes out. I read the book. I quite enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars, you know. Good book, solid book, great book. But then I watched the movie and the things that they changed were so stupid that I was just like, oh, that's it. That was kind of eh. There's also animal death on here. I'm just going to warn you every single time because I'm really sensitive to that. So yeah, that part hurt. Not going to lie, that part really hurt. But the overall arc of the story I really enjoyed. This is basically about these creatures that they discover at a cave and they are drawn by sound, so they basically kill everything on its range. Like, that was fucking insane. But that I really like the concept of it, having to communicate, you know, with sign language. I really like that. The ending I also really like. There are so many cool scenes in here, but the movie just fucked it up a little bit for me. But still, overall, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend if you want horror books. Like, this is a great one. So the next one that I have here is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell, which I actually really like and really need to continue, but I'm a mess at continuing series, so here we are. But basically in this one we follow Kellen. He lives in this kind of town where everyone is kind of magical, basically, except him. So at his 16th birthday, I believe, was it his? Yeah, he basically needs to prove himself and have like this kind of magical duel. But, you know, he doesn't have magic. So it's still a little bit fucked up. But he's going to try and find a way around it, especially after this new stranger comes into town. It's just great. Highly entertaining. The ending is super cool. I feel like the next installments are going to be fantastic also. The covers are beautiful, by the way. Like, I really liked this book when I read it. I just really need to continue. I just need to find the strength to continue with this. But I really like it. This behemoth, like, don't get me wrong, this book is beautiful, but it could have been like a 2-part series, like, why not? But still, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I quite enjoyed this book when it first came out. I think that my problem and a lot of other people's problem was the ending. The ending for this being a 800 fucking pages tome, it's really fast. It's really fast. It gets resolved too quickly in my opinion. Like, we have like all this setup and then the ending is that. Like, that's the ending. So that was a little bit icky. Like, you know, so basically here we're going to follow 3 POVs. I really believe there was 3, maybe 2. In my mind, there's 3. The first one is the queen. This family has ruled this West Kingdom for a long time. She really needs to have a daughter so the monarchy can continue, but assassins are trying to get to her all the time. Then we're also going to follow her lady in waiting, who is just tasked with protecting the queen, like, kind of secretly. She's part of this kind of secret society, so she's kind of protecting her secret. And then we're also going to follow another girl across the ocean in the east part of this kingdom. Well, not this kingdom, this world. And she's trying to become a dragon rider. The thing is, in this world, we have like good dragons and bad dragons. Like, good dragons are just like Eastern dragons, you know, like most Asian inspired dragons. And then the bad ones are the Western dragons, you know, your typical medieval dragons. So that's the cool thing. I love the dragon part here, but it could have been more. It could have been more. And then the last one that I have here is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin E. Craig. Yep, A. Craig. This is quite underrated, even though it had like some buzz around it when it first came out. I haven't heard that many people talk about it, but this is kind of a horror or a dark fairy tale, kind of a dark retelling of the 12 dancing princesses. But in this one, we basically follow these 12 sisters, and they live in this island, and one by one they start dying, basically, from the oldest till the youngest. And now is the time for our main character to kind of, you know, die. And she's just like, okay, something weird's going on. So yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but I really like this. The vibe, the dark vibe of this book is amazing. The atmosphere is done so greatly. Like, it's done so well. Highly recommend this one if you like Hold Back the Tide or Rules for Banishing. Even though they are quite different, the kind of dark vibe is the same. I really like this. The mystery aspect I also really enjoyed. I just really like this book overall. I didn't give it 5 stars because, you know, I didn't connect that well with it. But overall, it's great, and I will highly recommend that you check it out. So that was basically all. I think there were 15. I'm pretty sure there were 15. But as you can tell, I'm pretty tired, so I'm just going to go to sleep. But before I go, have you read any of these books? Do you have any recommendations that are just like, yeah, good books, not my favorites, but they are good? Please leave them down below in the comments. But as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.